So as many of you already know, when you're working on a house, you can think you're going to be doing one thing that day and find out that you've got to do something completely different because of a problem you find. And today is that day for me, and I'm sure I'm going to get more of them to come. The plan, I'm standing here in the kitchen, the plan was to pull up the plywood that someone had nailed down to these floors, evaluate the floors, lay down some more OSB, and then frame the walls on the exterior walls for the insulation, wiring, and plumbing, and drywall. Well, I found out that there's a lot more damage to the floors underneath that plywood that was in this room, so now I'm going to take it up a notch here in the kitchen. Luckily, like a lot of the other things I'm doing in this house, that offers me the option to do certain things easier now than if I had to do them later. So I'm going to go ahead and address this now. So let's take a closer look. We'll start out with a pan of the kitchen. These are the walls. That's the wall that would have gone into the bathroom, and then that little utility room right there, and then here into the living room, and then looking off in the distance, that's the bedroom. So down to the floors, which is the subject of this video, this is what it looks like with all of the plywood pulled up. You can see there's some different spots going on here. We're busted through here. That's where the floor had been burned through at one point, and that's just a lot of rot around the plumbing. And then you've got other little soft spots here and there that I can just stab through with my crowbar in this room. And it makes a lot of sense that that's occurring. You've got different spots like where's my finger? Right here. And then other things in this room that make me understand that there's probably a lot of water damage, water leaking through the roof on this portion of the house. So with that said, I think the easiest thing for me to do is to just go ahead and rip this floor up. Now that may sound silly. I could just put 3/4 inch OSB down, subflooring, over this and not have to rip the floor up. But there's a little bit going on in this corner of the house that would make it a good idea in my opinion. And that is, let's go over here for a second. See if this camera picks it up. Let me zoom right down in there. There's the ground. So underneath that joist there's only about 8 or 10 inches of clearance. So I can't crawl over into this side of the house. So by ripping up all the flooring in here, the tongue and groove pine flooring, which probably will take me 10 minutes with a sledgehammer, I'll have access to the crawl space much easier than I would if I had to crawl under there. And I'm glad I went ahead and figured that out now, because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull all the floor up in this room. I'm going to go ahead and put insulation in between the joists, because once the floor goes down there's no crawling back over there. And the other thing I'm going to do is go ahead and get the plumbing. Once you're on this side of the house there's enough space to crawl around easily. But again, you got about 10 inches of clearance over here. So I'm going to get all my plumbing installed and ready to go before those floors are installed. As far as the bathroom, I think it's going to be the exact same situation as the kitchen. So what I'm going to do is tear this wall down that you're looking at right in front of me. I've already done a little work on it, filling in where the chimney was, but all that's going to have to come out. And this door was going to get reframed anyway. You've got weird spacing, and it's not a load-bearing wall. So really all it is about 10, 12 2x4s and maybe 5 minutes of tearing that wall out. So it's really not that big of a deal, and I will be able to then tear the floor completely out of the bathroom. Basically this entire side of the house is getting the floor torn out and then new subflooring, but the same thing will apply in the bathroom. I'll easily be able to work on the plumbing and get all that nice and put together and not have to do as much awkward work underneath the house. So that is the plan. Now I need to tear this wall out and get all that crap out of the bathroom and tear out these floors.